I've known that I was supposed to do this, since a young age because of the passion I feel inside. You know how sometimes if you feel like a fire in your chest because you're so passionate about something? That's how I felt about music, so I just knew I was supposed to do it.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 39 of the Andrew Deitsch podcast. I hope all of my American friends had an amazing Labor Day weekend. Hope you had some fun. I released a podcast. I recorded a podcast. And I went to the lake this weekend. So I'm back on the podcast grind. And today, just like every episode, I have a very special guest for you guys to meet. But before I introduce her, I just wanted to mention that if this is your first time listening to the podcast, welcome. This podcast is all about having conversations with the most amazing and fascinating people I know. And I want to thank you for hanging out with us today. This week is going to be a little crazy because I'm heading down to Florida on Thursday. But hopefully I'll be able to edit a little bit in the car and keep up with my release schedule. But let's just jump into this thing. All right. So my guest today is a very influential woman in the electronic music scene, as you may know that I am very, very into. And her name is Nicole Barton, also known by her DJ name Zen Selekta. And as well as being a DJ and a producer in the Deep Dubstep genre, she's also a world traveler. She spent a lot of time overseas. But over the past year, she's been steadily gaining popularity all over the country, getting booked left and right for festivals and shows this summer, and she is not showing any sign of slowing down. And I connected with her recently because I'm a big fan of her music, to be honest, and I wanted to really showcase her talent and get to know her a little better as well. And we've been Facebook friends for a couple of years, but this was the first time we were able to actually sit down and have a real conversation. She's amazingly talented, super passionate about her music, and I'm a huge fan of her unique take on deep dubstep. It's really interesting. But instead of just talking about it, I'm going to play two of her songs for you guys. You guys are in for a treat. I'm going to play the first song that she released at the end of the podcast, and I'm going to play another one right now. Right now. So this is her latest release that she put out a couple months ago called Shanti. I hope you guys enjoy it.
पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं
Nicole, we're live.
Okay.
Does it feel any different?
Kinda, yeah, honestly it does. It really does.
All right, cool. Well, this is Nicole. She's really cool. I don't know if we've ever met before. I feel like we probably have somewhere, but not officially. We've never sat down and had a chat. So this is cool.
Yes, this is cool. This is our first chat ever.
Yeah. But I've actually done this a few times now with podcasts and like sat down with people that I haven't like really talked to before. And it's cool because like you get to know them.
Yeah. Well,
It's the only
I'm
way
ready
you
to
get
get
to
to
know
know
people.
you too.
There we go.
Cool.
Well, so I guess I'll kind of say first that I'm friends with Nicole on Facebook, and I've been following her stuff for a while because she's a DJ, and we're both like into electronic music and stuff like that, and I think that's how we got connected anyways.
Yeah,
But,
definitely.
So like just kind of give people an overview of like what you do right now as like a musician and DJ and all that.
Okay, well, I started about a year and a half ago, and right now I'm producing my own tracks, and I'm getting hired to go play them, and I'm trying to spread love with my music. That's like my main mission right now, because with everything going on in the world, I feel like that's my duty.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's I feel like on one level, most artists will say stuff like that. Like, for example, like Grizz or somebody, like, that's, like, a huge part of his message. But it's cool
Sure.
when, it's a lot of times it's like, yeah, man, I just want to spread love. But it's kind of, like, cliche. But it's cool that was, like, the first thing that you said, you know?
Well, it may be cliche, but it's the truth. That was really the whole reason I got into it. Not the whole reason, but a huge reason. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool. But, okay, so, obviously, you're making music. You're doing the DJ thing. You started, like, fairly recently.
Yeah.
But, like, Nicole of today, obviously, is way different than the Nicole of the past and stuff. And that's one
Definitely.
thing that I really like to explore on my podcast, and people have heard me explain this concept a whole bunch of times. They've listened to this a lot. But I think that we tend to look at people as, like, a stationary object. Like, you look at an old person and you're like, oh, that's just an old man. But, like, he once was, like, a 5-year-old kid, you know?
That's true.
And so, like, being able to have the perspective enough to look at people as a work in progress rather than, like, a stationary person is, like, really important, I feel like.
Absolutely.
So, like, I like to be able to give people, like, if they're listening to this and they don't know you, they might not even know me, like, take them back kind of and just give us some context of, like, Nicole and how you got to Nicole of today.
Okay, well, my sister played a huge part in my upbringing, but I don't know, a big thing that's, I guess, changed in me is I never started my journey in music until so recently because I used to kind of view the world differently. I kind of thought that my dream was too far-fetched, I was kind of like brought up thinking that it was unrealistic, but then...
Like to make money as a musician?
Right, or like, I just like thought of it as a job, like, oh, I want to be an astronaut, or, you know what I mean? When you're little, they tell you, like, those are just like...
I want to be the president!
Exactly. So, but then slowly I went through like a big change when I started meditating and stuff, and I realized that really that you create your own reality and you can do whatever you want with the right mindset. So I had this entire change in myself, and that's what made me go out and actually start this journey. And ever since then, like, I've just set my mind to it, and everything I've set my mind to has happened so far. So
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So it all kind of started with like meditation and stuff?
yes, absolutely.
That's really
and
cool.
that's another thing, I'm trying to get people to do through my music. Yeah, I
That's
think
really
it's
cool.
very important. 10 minutes a day, just like pure silence, and it really helps your mind.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So like before you started meditating, you said you viewed the world like a different way. Like what do you mean by that?
I'm not going to say I was a negative person, but I wasn't as positive as I am now. Like right now, like I'm completely positive. Like anything like negative that may happen to me now, I will view it as, like one door shuts, another door opens. As with back then, I would have just like dwelled on it and, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's totally about perspective. I mean, I could. This is like a super common theme in my podcast, which is super cool because
Really?
I just like felt like I even through Facebook, like I knew you just like had very similar like perspective, I guess, as like what a lot of the things I talk about on this podcast. That was like one of the biggest reasons why I reached out to you, anyways.
Oh, really?
Which is cool. But I didn't want to
Cool.
necessarily say that up front because that
Right.
sounds kind of weird, like.
Right.
But it's totally true. Like you can just kind of tell when people are positive people
Yeah.
versus like kind of cynical people or
Absolutely.
stuff like that.
I definitely
But
got a great vibe from you, so.
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's really cool. It is weird how you can totally pick up on that. Even
Sense
through,
energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can take that to like a religious or spiritual level, or you
Yeah.
can take it as like literal and you know as basic as you
Exactly.
can. But you know, one of the things that I tend to think about is like every opportunity is a learning opportunity, or like you
Yes.
know, if things don't work out for you, that's cool because you can learn from that for next time. If things do
Exactly.
work out, then it's like cool. What did I do to make that happen?
It's all about learning.
Yeah. That's how I have been trying to view things, especially recently. Like yesterday, a couple days ago, I had like, you know, I don't do much editing to my podcast, but for example, I have to like throw everything together and bounce everything out and make sure all the levels are correct and all this stuff. And I had this podcast completely ready. All I had to do was like throw in my intro and my outro, and I like saved it, closed my laptop, and then opened it like a few hours later. And I opened up the session file, and literally there was like nothing in there. And I was just like, no!
And it was
then
just
like
gone?
through my so like it was like normally all the tracks are like labeled as different things. I label them as like this is the music, this is the intro, this is like my voice, this is whoever's voice, and then like I had them all in there. I had all in, and it was just like track 1, track 2, track 3, track 4 empty, and I'm just like, what? I was so mad, and after like 2 minutes of being mad, I was like, okay, like maybe I messed up. I don't know. Maybe I didn't save it. I don't know. But like maybe there's a reason why this happened this way or
There's
whatever.
always a reason.
Yeah.
You know?
And then so I was like trying not to harp on it and stuff.
Yeah.
And then yesterday I was like, okay, I'm just gonna sit down and like redo all the stuff that I just did. And I opened up my laptop, opened up the session file, and it was restored. And it was all there. And I was like, what? No, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And I think it like, I don't know why that happened or whatever, but it was like, if I would have let myself get really mad and super frustrated and just like let it like stir and fester in me
Yeah.
all day, it would have been, you know, it would have been a detriment to me. And then also it ended up working out anyways because for whatever reason the session was restored.
Exactly.
And then I would have just been pissed and frustrated all day
For
and
no
ruined my
reason.
whole day for no reason.
For no reason.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I was
that's a
really
good story.
glad that I didn't let it like get to me that bad.
Exactly. Good.
But anyways, that was a whole nother side story. But so like I have a kind of similar thing, I guess, where like now I'm viewing the world differently. But like to take people like really far back, like where'd you grow up? Like where were you born? Like all that stuff.
Oh, okay. I grew up in Georgia.
Nice.
My mom is from Spain, so I'm
What
half
part?
Spanish, Madrid.
No way.
I've spent a good part of my life there.
I lived there for 3 months last summer in
Really?
Madrid. Yeah.
Oh man, did you
Yeah.
like it?
Yeah, Madrid is tight.
It's the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and then my dad's from New York. He actually met my mom in Spain, and here I am.
What was he doing there?
He owned a wine business, and you know, the wine in Spain is like the best. So yeah, those are my roots, and
That's so
I
tight.
mean, I rep Spain, I rep Atlanta. I love both those places so much. I
That's
love
really
where
cool.
I'm from. I really do.
That's cool. I've
Yeah.
always had like a weird thing with like the where I'm from thing, like repping your city, because like it's like my parents are both from up north. Like my mom's from Michigan,
Yeah.
my dad's from Ohio. So like growing up in Georgia, like I had all these like Southern pride kind of people, you know,
Right.
like around me, and like really proud that they're from the South. But like my parents didn't have that at all, really, because like that
Right.
was like we live in Georgia, but you know, my mom like doesn't really care about like repping Michigan. My dad is like a really big Ohio State fan, so he's like super into that. But as far as like my home life, it wasn't like all the time we're like, hell yeah, Georgia, Atlanta's the shit.
Well, my family was not
Bulldogs.
like that either.
No, yeah. But like, so I always just, I don't know, if people tend to like put so much like, I don't know, energy into like that spot where they're from and stuff. And so in some ways I'm kind of not jealous in the fact that I don't really feel that for whatever reason, but like
okay.
But sometimes I'm kind of glad I don't have that, because sometimes I feel like it can almost put you into this like box that other people might view you as that way, or you can view other people as a different way depending on how you look at it. But that's cool though, because you have that like connection to Spain.
Yeah.
And like you're like, yo, I'm still from Atlanta though.
Yeah, exactly.
That's tight. I feel like that's kind of rare. You don't really meet too many like Spanish people.
Right, but I'm not confining
Spanish
myself to these two places.
No,
like,
no, no.
I mean, I love to travel. I've been a lot of places in the world. So,
That's tight.
yeah.
Where so like obviously you spent time in like Europe and stuff. Like where have you been?
Oh, I've been to France. I've been to England, Italy, Germany. I've been around. It's awesome. I really like the way of life over there.
Me too.
Yeah, I think I'll eventually actually live in Spain. Yeah,
wow, that's cool.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm not gonna make my way there yet because.
How's your Spanish?
Oh, I'm fluent.
There
Absolutely.
we go.
Yeah, I can read and write all that. But I'm definitely gonna stay here for a while because I think it's gonna be very beneficial to grow my fan base in the United States first.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I totally feel
it's
you.
already been working out, so.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go over there just yet.
Yeah, I totally feel you. It is weird how like a lot of the limitations of travel are mainly because of like where you've put your roots, kind of.
Right.
And so that's why I'm always so like hesitant to like put my roots anywhere, because I'm always like, what if I want to leave like all of a sudden, like one day just like get up and go? I don't want to be too like tied down too hard.
Right. And I don't necessarily feel tied down. Like,
But
I want to stay.
No, but
here.
I feel what you're saying about the fan base thing, because I also feel that way about the podcast, because one of my biggest goals with the podcast is to be able, like you see my setup right here, to be able to travel and use the podcast as a way to fund that.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
like a big part of podcasting is like at least mine is having interesting guests and stuff.
Yeah.
So like if I'm traveling, I would have to be able to like find those people and stuff. And until my podcast is like pretty successful, I feel like, it might be a little bit more challenging to find people on the road or whatever.
Right.
Even though you meet tons of interesting people when you're traveling.
I was about to say, I mean.
And I'm fortunate enough to be able to make like some cool connections and stuff like that. And like, I think I could make it happen as of right now, but I'm kind of in the same boat where I want to start in Atlanta, do a whole lot of groundwork here, get an audience kind of here, and then start to kind of like branch out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So so you grew up here, and then did you go to like school around here, or where'd you go?
Yeah, I went to school around here, but I never went to college.
Nice.
I did something called dual enrollment in high school, where I took a year of college as my high school courses.
Where'd you go to high school?
Does that make sense? Collins Hill.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, and I took my classes at GGC, and then just quickly realized, I was like, I mean, if I'm going to go to school, I'm going to go to school for music. But then I just looked into a bunch of music schools, which are just ridiculously expensive. And then I just went out and talked to a bunch of artists that I knew. And, a lot of them told me this is very possible to learn on your own. I mean, you have to be dedicated, and it's going to take a lot, probably harder work, but it's very possible if you don't want to spend the money on school.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
Ever since I graduated, yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
So what got you into, were you playing music before that? Like in high school, were you in the band or anything?
No, it's crazy. I want to beat myself up for it every day. But I mean, obviously it's fine now. But I just wish I would have picked up an instrument,
Yeah.
I just into sports. I was very into sports. Soccer, cross country, track and field, tennis. I was super into sports. I loved it. And I mean, I loved music too, but like I said, like I still thought it was this like far-fetched dream. Like I was just like, whatever, I'm not even gonna.
And also, like, if you're into sports, like, especially in high school, you get a lot of accolades for that. Like, people kind of, like, it's an easier, respected thing, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, I just hate how you are considered a geek if you're in bands. I mean, now I look back and I'm like, these are the real MVPs, not the football players. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You know, like,
yeah.
I mean, they're good too, but.
Yeah, we love you football players.
But you know what I mean.
No, I totally know what you mean. Yeah, like, I feel like a lot of my friends that were in band were, like, also, they didn't necessarily care about the school band. They just, like, loved music, and so they were like, I'm just going to take music classes.
Right.
And it just so happens that this is, like, the school band. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't necessarily like, oh, I freaking love band, dude.
Right.
Like,
it was just like...
It was cool, but yeah.
Right.
I mean, I could be wrong about that, but I feel like that was the vibe I got a lot of the times. Yeah. And I feel like, you know, obviously you get those, like, kind of geek vibes, because a lot of times someone who's going to be labeled as a geek is someone who's, like, off on their own, kind of like a loner doing their weird little thing by themselves. Whereas, like, football, it's like, yeah, bro, we're going to go work out together, bro,
like,
and lift heavy shit. And, like, everyone's going to come watch us.
Together. Right.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah, and it's, like, more, you know, glamorous or whatever. But that's cool, though. So you didn't really do that in high school.
I didn't.
So what, like, made you want to do music then?
Well, ever since middle school, I was like, I mean, I want to be a DJ. Like, I would watch the Tomorrowland videos and just like, oh my God, just drool over them. I was like, I want that to be me. You know, I wanted to be me so bad. And finally, I mean, I just thought it was going to take so much money to buy a computer, the equipment, and it did. But finally, I was just like, you know, when I was 16, I just got a job, saved up for everything, and just started learning on my own.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So, you know, I did it. Better late than never, right?
No, that's the thing is, like, when you like hear of actually, especially in the electronic scene, like, when you hear of people that are really successful DJs and stuff like that and producers, like, most of the time they're not classically trained. Most of the time they did not go to school for it.
That's, yeah.
And,
a lot of times.
You know, it's cool to have, like, a degree in, you know, like, audio engineering or whatever. But, you know, and I have a lot of friends that are audio engineers and stuff.
Right.
What up, peeps? But, like, a lot of times you only need those credentials to, like, work at a studio or, like, you know, be a producer for someone else's music or whatever, because they want to know that you're legit. But I think a lot of times it's kind of like a college degree. Once you kind of get your first gig or your first job, like, those credentials don't really mean as much as, like, what your experience shows. Like, if you can show people your
experience trumps everything.
Yeah, for sure. Like, once you're showing people, like, yo, I'm getting booked for gigs, like, you can go listen to my sets from other, like, stuff, like, you know, here I am.
Exactly. I mean, being real, though, if I came from, you know, money and, like, this, I just had it made, like, you know, my parents could just pay for my school, no problem. I probably would, because why not get more of an education, you know? But since it's not that easily accessible to me, I think I'm going to do it on my own.
Yeah.
And I do pay a professor of mine, he's certified to teach, so sometimes I'll take lessons from him online.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's always important to be open to that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah.
Because if you, like, shut it out completely, like, I don't need to learn from anybody.
Yeah, no, you can't have that mindset.
YouTube 100%.
Yeah, definitely can't have that mindset. No.
Yeah, but I think you hit on, like, an interesting point, because there is a lot of people there that kind of buy their way to the top, for sure. And you can buy your way to the top, like, in so many ways. But I think that the people that get the most fulfillment and have the best fan bases and, like, are actually real are people that, like, came from.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times it's like, when you buy your way to the top, you're kind of just this, like, generic cookie cutter kind of thing.
Of course.
And you don't have your own sound because you're not even really, like, you haven't ever taken the time to, like, figure out what that even is, or, like, why your sound is the way it is, or whatever.
Right. And I mean, there's some artists that just, they want to be that generic and stuff, but I'd rather keep it organic.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it, in my opinion. So that's super awesome. And most of the time, I feel like if you keep it organic, as soon as you pop, like people really, really respect that.
Yeah.
Like they latch on to that so
probably
hard.
respect you more, yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
I could name a lot of artists off the top of my head that like are kind of like that. But anyways,
Yeah, same here.
so you're just like, yo, college ain't for me after taking some like dual enrollment classes.
Yeah,
I wish I had done that because I went to 1 year of college and then I dropped out. I wish I would have just done the like dual enrollment thing because
So
then I
you
would have
would've
totally
known.
realized it quicker. But I mean, you know, there's something to be said about like dual enrollment versus like going off away to like because I went to Georgia College in Milledgeville, GCSU.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of like, you know, oh well, dual enrollment would have been different because you know you're not away from home and like you're not
True.
you can't get involved.
But you still would have gotten a taste of the classes, you know?
I just hadn't
Which
really
is what
given
you're
much-
really
yeah.
there for, right?
The zinger, the truth comes out. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And that was the thing. I made it, a lot of people listening to this know this, but like when I decided to drop out, it was because I joined this like company, this network marketing company, and like I started reading like self-development books and like, you know, started like actually giving my life a serious thought rather than just
Right?
like following what everyone else like expected me to do.
Exactly.
And that was like my transformation. And
That's awesome.
So like I kind of bounced around for the past few years, like after like deciding to drop out and stuff. But that's like a big thing. Were people like questioning your decision to like not go to college and stuff?
Well, my parents definitely.
So
I mean-
were they supportive or like?
Well, okay. You know, when I just started when I graduated, so, you know, I wasn't that good yet. So, you know, I'd show them my songs and they're like, okay, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, I wasn't
Cool,
getting
Nicole.
booked just yet. So it was all like, are you sure you don't want to go to school? And, you know, I was firm with my decision. I was like, there's nothing I want to go to school for right now. I'm not going to go waste my money because I've seen examples of this, like all throughout the nation, people just going to college and just blowing their money. They changed their major like 5 times. I was like, this is not going to be me. If I go, I'm going to know what I want to do. So at first they were very sketched out about it, but then slowly but surely, I mean, I really worked my ass off and I mean, it paid off. And so now, I mean, now they don't say a word. They're
That's so
very
tight.
supportive. They actually even will come to my shows, dance on stage with me. Yeah,
so
seriously.
cool.
Seriously. No, they're very supportive. I mean, as you can see here, we're in my studio and, you know, my dad lets me just play music as loud as I want anytime. Like,
That's so tight.
yeah, he's super supportive. I love it.
That's really, really awesome.
And my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was harder to get my dad on board, I guess. But my mom was like, "Yeah, you're right." Like when I made that like case, like you just said, like, you know, there's nothing I want to go to school for right now. You know, there's always the thing too of like it's not like there's a limit of when you can go back to.
Exactly.
People always like, you know, they think that these are your college years, but it's like college is about learning. And like learning is a lifelong thing. You shouldn't just like stop learning once you go to once you're done with college.
Exactly. And that was a point, but that was a point my mom was trying to make, though. She was like, well, it's harder to go back later in your life.
That's true.
And I was like,
There's an
that could
argument to be
be
made.
that could be true. Yeah, that definitely could be true.
Yeah, if you have like 5 kids, like
Right.
it's a lot harder to go back to school.
But like I don't necessarily plan on that anytime soon.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
And that's another thing too is like there's a generation gap that the previous generation could get out of college, get a job, have that job for maybe like 30 years.
Yeah.
And then retire with a pension or whatever, and then like that was it. That was life, and like stability was like the thing. And it's like now that just like doesn't exist. There's no one that can keep a job for that long anymore. And I don't need to even talk about this because I think most people listening to this realize that, I think, and you obviously do, and I do. But it's a different time, and so a lot of times adults and, you know, not that I'm not an adult, not that you're not an adult,
Yeah.
but you know what I'm talking about, our parents' generation, they sometimes don't see the reality of today's situation, like today's like
Yeah.
actual climate of college and the job
Yeah.
market and all that, because they're so like far removed from it. But
Definitely.
that's really cool though. So like you just started like watching like YouTube tutorials, or like what'd you do?
Pretty much. I also had a really good friend that I have a couple good friends that make music, and they helped me get into it. Actually, I never bought Ableton myself. My friend had bought it and had an extra download, gave it to me.
Nice.
So yeah, I was very lucky to have a friend that kind of got me started, you know? He showed me where to like find samples and what everything was really. So that was very helpful. I had some friends, and then I also found out about a guy named George, and he's still my mentor to this day. I still pay him for lessons to this day, but I mean, he probably gave me my first music lesson ever. So he's definitely helped me out a lot. And then, the internet. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Between all those, that's how I've learned so far.
That's awesome. And I never asked you, like you said from like middle school and stuff, you were watching like Tomorrowland videos and stuff. When did you like start getting into EDM and all that?
You know, that's
And do you like that word?
Yeah, why not? I mean, that's what it is, electronic dance music.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't have anything against it. No, definitely not. But
some people are so weird about it.
Yeah, I know. They're like, oh, it's not EDM, whatever. But my sister, that's actually thanks to my sister, Natalie. She's the one who first showed me electronic music. I think the first artist she showed me were like Pretty Lights and Skrillex.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. And
that's so
first time I heard
typical.
Skrillex, I was like, all right, what is this? I was just so confused, you know. I really liked Pretty Lights though, but she was the one who showed me it. So ever since then, I really got into it. And yeah, I remember I loved David Guetta so much. Oh man.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I definitely listened to that one album he had. There was like, the album cover was like red, and it was like him like standing on it.
Yes. Is that the song with, damn, she's a sexy bitch?
Yeah. Yes, I totally.
I'm telling you.
Right now, like, people are laughing so hard at me but I will admit it. I'm not gonna lie. I definitely listen to David Guetta too.
I know.
Yeah.
And like Avicii and Nicki Romero. That's all this stuff I was into back in the day. Like, I have come so far, music taste wise.
But I think that's how most people get introduced to it.
Of course.
Yeah, it was funny because I was talking to my friend the other day, and we were joking about like this girl. She said she was like into electronic music, and I was like, I was like, okay, cool. When I talk to her, if she mentions David Guetta or like Martin Garrix or Dimitri Vegas and Like Mike, I'm just gonna crack up. And so literally like when I talked to her, David Guetta came out, and I started like, I couldn't stop laughing because I like predicted it.
Right.
But you're so right, like David Guetta.
Hey, but
definitely.
we all start somewhere though, you know.
Totally. Did you ever listen to Dimitri Vegas and Like Mike?
Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did. But, okay, to my defense, in Spain, that music is what is hot.
Oh, for sure. Like, why do you think they're playing main stage at Tomorrowland?
That big room house sound. Oh, man. Yeah. They eat it up over there in Europe.
I know. Okay, I just got back from Tomorrowland. And like,
wait, really?
Yeah, I've been there twice. It's awesome.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've only been to Tomorrow World in Atlanta twice.
It's actually, like, okay, people are always like, if you had to compare Tomorrowland to anything, what would it be? And I'd be like, Tomorrow World is definitely the closest comparison, but imagine Tomorrow World like 3 times more grander. Like, more like
crazy.
Elaborate and just everything. And also more diverse, like way more diverse. Like, there's so many Americans at Tomorrow World. And like, there was people from all over, but like Tomorrowland
is really
just like literally all of your neighbors will be from different countries, like guaranteed.
Wow.
Like it's amazing.
Oh, I love that. That's what I loved so much about Tomorrow World. I really did.
Yeah.
I
Lots
bet
of
it's
people
more
from like
integrated
South
over
America
there,
and stuff, because it was a lot closer and stuff. Like that, it was really cool. Tomorrow World, I definitely did meet a lot of cool people from other places.
Yeah.
But as far as being an international festival, like Tomorrowland makes it a huge point. And I've like talked about this a lot on the podcast already because I just got back from there, so it's like fresh in my mind and stuff.
Nice.
But yeah, Tomorrowland is the bomb, but you would not imagine how many freaking, like, yeah, like you said, that music is just so hot over there. And everyone just, like, wants to just yell, like, you know, like, when the song is going, like, hey, 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 and, like, what's the thing, whoop, there it is.
Oh, right.
But you know how that's, like, an actual thing, like, whoop, there it is like, what you're saying? Over there, they don't know what the words that they're saying.
Oh,
so literally people are just going, whoop, whoop, and I was
that's funny though.
Oh, these people don't even know what the words are. They just know the chant from like listening to it.
Man, what an experience. That sounds great.
But anyway, so we all have to start somewhere for sure.
Yeah.
But so then, like, when did you start, like, you said your sister kind of introduced you to it, and then when did you kind of, like, start your own kind of journey or, like, whatever?
Well...
And when did you go to your first show? That's important, too.
My first show was last July 9th. I actually remember the
No,
date.
not your first show, but, like, what was the first show you attended?
Oh, wow. Well, electronic music show, Flux Pavilion at the Tabernacle.
Wow.
Yeah, I was
That was probably pretty awesome at the time.
Well, it sucked for me because I was 15 and my mom picked me up at like 1 a.m. and I totally missed. I mean, I think I saw like 15 minutes of Flux Pavilion.
Oh, that sucks.
It was so terrible. It was so
That
bad.
sucks. I remember those days.
Yeah.
I remember one time I went to the Tabernacle and my friend's dad came with us.
Oh.
And he sat in the balcony the whole time.
No.
Yeah, and it was like a screamo, like, hardcore concert.
Oh, really?
So he was like sitting upstairs with his earplugs and he's just like, okay, like,
Wow,
this is weird. He was
man.
like pretty open-minded about it, but it was just like so weird.
Yeah, it's just...
He's like, I saw you guys down there moshing. And it's like, oh God.
Really?
Yeah, it was so funny.
Dang. Yeah, well, that was my first concert experience, but...
That's a pretty good first one, but it sucks that you missed it.
Yeah.
Who was like, do you remember who the openers were?
Wow, that stings that I really can't remember that.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I feel like Flux Pavilion back in the day would always bring, like, heavy people that no one had heard of, like Brown and Gammon and, like, Funkcase and stuff. Well, Funkcase now is, like, bigger, but back in the day, like, and Cookie Monster and stuff.
Dang, I just... Now this is really killing me. I can't remember.
It's okay.
But yeah.
We can Google it.
Right. No, I think I
Flux
might
Pavilion
later.
Tabernacle.
Yeah.
That's really cool, though.
Whatever it was.
Did you go with your sister?
No, I went with my best friend, Brittany. She's still my
Nice.
best friend, too.
Nice.
Yeah, for
What up,
sure.
Brittany?
Yeah, what up?
No, but that's really cool, though. So then you just, like, from there, you started going to, like, more shows and stuff? Or?
Yeah. And then I kind of started getting more into the underground bass music scene and found my home.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So, like, the underground scene, like, some people that are listening to this are so far removed from this world that they don't even know, like, what, like, we're talking about right now.
Oh.
So, you know what I mean? Like, there's going to be people listening to this
Yeah,
that
I
just
guess
don't even, like,
you're
get
probably
this
right.
stuff. So, like, if you were to describe, like, what kind of, like, underground or whatever music that you, like, fell into, like, if you could describe it, like, how would you describe it to people?
Shoot, I could tell you the genre it is. It's
Okay.
deep dubstep.
Okay.
So the dubstep that you normally hear, and for the people who don't even really know what dubstep is.
I think most people are
you think-
I feel like that's kind of in the zeitgeist now. Like, people kind of know dubstep.
Okay, Skrillex is dubstep. But that's the very upbeat, intense kind. I really like the more slower, feely, deeper kind, you know? It's a little slower to dance to.
So people wanted to, like, listen. Well, obviously people can go listen to your music and stuff, but if they wanted to listen to, like, some examples, like,
I would say a solid example. I mean, one of my biggest influences is absolutely hands down the Whittler. I mean, I've been listening to him honestly since middle school. He's been making this stuff for years.
Yeah.
He's a pioneer of this kind of music.
I always thought his name was hysterical for whatever reason.
The Whittler, it's awesome.
The Whittler.
The Whittler. Yeah, it's great. It's great. No, he was one of my biggest inspirations. So,
That's cool.
But what really brought me into this kind of music is the fact also, actually, electronic music as a whole is all about spreading love. I mean, when I first got into, this electronic music scene, there was the whole idea of plur. And, now that's kind of gone away a little bit because it's corny to people. But, I mean, that's what I loved about it. Peace, love, unity, respect. That's awesome. So that's what I really loved about this music. And Deep Dubstep is all about spreading love, mostly. So
that's really cool. Yeah, and I've talked about this actually recently a lot, is like when you meet somebody, you're trying to like find common ground immediately.
Yeah.
But when you're at like a show or something, you already have like a connection with that person because you're like, okay, you're here too.
Exactly.
So like obviously we're gonna relate on like certain levels.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's what people love so much about. Especially, I think music festivals have gotten so mainstream nowadays that you kind of, if you go to a festival, like, okay, for example, you go to Ultra Miami, you're going to meet a lot of people that you don't relate with. But if you go to, like, the Alsa stage or something and camp out there all day, like, you might meet some people that are, like, more in tune with, like, what you like. Or if you go to, like, the smaller stages or whatever.
Right.
So, but like, if that's one cool thing about music festivals, that it is kind of fragmented, but it's all under this umbrella.
Exactly. We're all still family.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
It's like, you can go listen to Dimitri Vegas and like Mike, and I'm going to go listen to like some like grimy
and that's
shit.
Cool.
Yeah, exactly.
It's cool.
Yeah, and like you said, everyone starts somewhere, so you got to respect that as well. It's like one day they'll come around.
Right. But hey, honestly, some people really, that's just what they like
cool.
though, and
exactly.
that's cool. And
that
that's
is cool.
I always just love to respect what music people like. Except country. I
was thinking not literally.
I'm kidding. I've even learned to just respect country. And
there's like some country elements though that are actually kind of cool sometimes. Like, like you could even say that, I mean, like some people when Avicii released like Hey Brother or whatever, stuff like that, people are like, this is like country, like that weird.
You're right, that did sound a little bit like
it
that.
It kind of had like a little bit like folk vibes to it, just kind of weird.
Yeah. You're right. I forgot about that song. Completely.
Yeah. I forgot about Avicii until like a couple weeks ago when he put out his new music. Did you hear about that?
Definitely not.
Yeah. So like Avicii
I thought
retired.
He fell off the face of the earth. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So it was crazy actually. I went to his last festival show at Creamfields.
Okay.
In the UK like 2 years ago.
What?
And like he played this one song.
That's so cool.
That for whatever reason I happened to Snapchat it, and like I remember thinking like, this sounds like a really awesome Avicii song, because I still really like Avicii actually. Like even though say what you want, mainstream whatever, like I really like his music, and I've actually been listening. Like I can truly say I've been listening to them before he was Avicii. Like when he was like what was that one song? It was like something bro. It was like something bro hug or something bro step or something like. I don't remember.
I don't know.
But it was like, I'll have to look it up. But anyways. I recorded this one song, and I was like, this sounds like an Avicii song, but I don't know. It's probably unreleased, and he's retiring, so we'll probably never get to hear it. And then, like, last week, the album came out, and that song that I just happened to Snapchat and get, like, a 10-second clip of, it's on the album.
Wow.
And I was, like, so stoked, because I was like, I thought I was only going to ever be able to know this, like, one 10-second little clip, but, like, the whole song came out. I was, like, so stoked.
What? But how are you going to say you're going to retire and then...
Well, he retired from touring apparently. Like he was like, I'm still gonna make music and stuff. And that song was already like made really, because he like played it out at a show. But he ended up getting a vocalist to be on the track too. Because like when I heard the song, there was no words, but then in the song that came on the album, there's like a verse to it, and then like the drop or whatever you want to call it was like the same.
Right.
But yeah, it was like really cool, because I was like. It was such a coincidence, even that that I happened to be recording at that point too. But anyways, but yeah, Avicii, like I don't even remember why we started talking about him. But the Hey Brother thing, the country
exactly.
stuff. But there's like some elements that you can take from it. But as far as like mainstream country stuff, yeah, I'm not about it.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's really cool. So then you started like going to more shows, got into like deep dubstep, and then was that the time when you like started making music too, or like had you already started making music at this point? And like in the beginning, were you trying to make like big room kind of stuff, or like David Guetta kind of stuff, or were you trying to?
You know what? I completely skipped over this huge phase I had in music. I was so into trap music. Oh man, I was so into it. Like the electronic kind of trap, not the rap.
Like Loud Pack and like Flossadamus and Oh, totally.
Yes.
I feel you.
Very into it. And I still like a lot of it, you know. But
I feel like it kind of ran its course for whatever reason.
Absolutely, yeah.
It was kind of a phase for a lot of people.
Yeah, I really hope. Deep Dubstep won't be a phase, but no, that's a culture at this point. But anyway, so I wanted to be a trap DJ all the way, 100%, like trap only, like the hardest trap beats, like I wanted that to be me. And so I started making music when I was in that phase. So the first songs that I ever made were like, you know, little trap tunes and yeah, they suck, but
hey, that's cool though. Like everyone's gonna make shitty music at first,
right? Yeah, definitely. So no, that's how I started off, and then I found out about it, and then I was like, okay, this is what I want to do, you know. Nice. So, and who knows? Maybe later
it'll evolve again.
I mean, maybe I might evolve. Yeah, I'm totally open to the idea of evolving and stuff. So.
I think that's super important because if you. Especially from like a monetization and a branding standpoint.
Yeah.
There's a benefit in sticking to what your audience is already used to you making. Mm-hmm. But there's always going to be like diminishing returns with that. And also, if people respect you as an artist and like have a connection with the actual person rather than just your music, I think people will follow you depending on whatever you end up making.
Very, very true. I've seen that.
For sure.
Yeah. I've
like if you take even like Skrillex as an example, like in the beginning he was obviously he was in like a screamo band and then he started making like weird like kind of like Asian techno-y music. If you listen to like some of his weird stuff called under the name of like Twips, I don't know if you've heard it. He
didn't even know about
made
that.
music under this username Twips that was like one of his like online handles, and then he started releasing under Skrillex. Okay. But like he was making all this weird stuff, and then like dubstep, he kind of like just for whatever reason just became like this kind of like godfather of dubstep, where like just kind of paved the way for everybody. And now he's like putting out like kind of like housey kind of stuff recently, and then like the Jack Hughes
pop.
thing.
It's pop.
Yeah, it's like kind of like
He's
poppy
collabing
and stuff,
with Justin Bieber and stuff, and
like his new song with Habstract though, like on the House album. Have you heard that one? Chicken Soup. Yeah, like he's like come out with like so many weird little genres. Like he's coming out with pop stuff. He's like doing like stuff with Boys Noise and like stuff with Habstract, stuff with Chris Lake. Yeah, it's like really tight.
I think shoot, if I was that big, I would make all kinds of music. I mean, I still think I will, you know?
Yeah, totally.
I want to make reggae music. You know, I actually can sing too. I just haven't really tried to record myself yet. I haven't tried to write any lyrics either, but I can.
That's
so those
cool.
are just some things I plan on doing. I definitely plan on making other genres.
That's really awesome. Did you ever follow Cruella?
Yeah, I did.
I was like such a Cruella fanboy.
Me too. That's so funny. Yeah, I liked some of their songs. And
were they like an inspiration at all or not really?
You know, I don't remember ever being super inspired by them.
I feel you, because I've listened to some of their old songs and they're like they were like pretty like trappy. It's weird. Like they were trying to make like trap music at first too, which I didn't know if that was like a common thread or anything. But like I was so into Cruella at one point, and then obviously like everything fell apart for them. But like they're coming back. But anyways, they were like. I was like so into Cruella at one point. But anyway, so you started like making music. When did you like start trying to like put it out there for people? Because obviously you make music and like sometimes in the beginning you're like, I don't know if this is good enough to like put on SoundCloud. I'm just gonna like send it to some friends or whatever.
Right. Well, I actually went through like this like when I first started making music, it was going good at first because I was so new to it. I was like, I didn't have any expectations for myself to be making the most fire songs. But then as I kept doing it more, it's like I had more expectation for myself, and like, I don't know, I got really like unconfident in all of my music. Like, it took me forever to release my first song. Like, even when I was posting, I was like, I don't even know if this is good, and it's doing super well now, you know, but that's just how it is as an artist. Like, you just look at your art, and like, to you, just like, sometimes it's just never perfect, you know, but
Exactly.
you gotta just find the point where it's like, all right, man, like, this is it, you know, I'm not gonna just like hold on to this forever and ever.
Yeah, that's a big
I'm a
problem
perfectionist,
Yeah.
definitely. So, yeah, it took me a while, and it takes a lot to just be like, this is my art, hope you like it, you know, to put it out there. It took a lot, but yeah, it still does. Like, I mean, now a lot of the songs I have to, you know, I'm a perfectionist, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the South Park documentary?
I don't think so, no.
I think it's
haven't.
called like In 7 Days or 7 Days or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know if you know this, but do you watch South Park at all?
I have seen some episodes.
But anyways, South Park, when they are in season, like when their episodes are coming out, the episode that airs was created in the previous 7 days. Like most TV shows,
Oh,
like in the
really?
off season is when they're creating all the episodes, and each episode has like a
Right.
different, writer and director, and even, sometimes like different artists are working on different episodes.
Yeah.
But on South Park, when they're in season, they try to make their seasons about current events. So like as things happen, they write, animate, create, and like export an
Wow.
episode in the 7
That
days
makes sense.
leading up, which
That
is
actually
crazy.
makes so much sense now.
Because that's how they can like make episodes about things that are happening
course.
like now.
Wow, that's talent.
Yeah, and like one of
Yeah.
the biggest things that stuck with me about that documentary was one of the main guys. I can't remember if it was. I can't remember which one it was. But he said like, there's always like, Comedy Central has their due date, and we have to send it to them by that point, or else it's not going to air. And of course, like when I watch the thing, when it finally airs, like there's always going to be things I'm like, we could have tweaked that, or like,
Of
we
course.
could have changed that, or we could have made that scene better. We could have made that punchline better, or whatever. But he's like, all those things, like let's say when we put it out, it's 90%. Like all those little tweaks, like might even only bring it up to like 91 or 92%. Like it's so hard to get to like 100%, like as best as you can make it.
Right.
So 90% of what we can make is already really awesome. So we just want to like put it out there and just keep pumping out content for people rather than trying to
Interesting.
make like one amazing thing, you know?
That's interesting, but I don't know if that really does apply to music though, because I definitely don't think with music it's better to do quantity over quality.
No,
definitely
no,
not. You know,
No.
That's
and that,
just-
yeah.
yeah.
And that wasn't the
'Cause-
point I was
yeah.
making, but
Right.
but what I was kind of trying to say was like, there's always going to be a point where you put out something, and then there's always something you could change. Like one of my art teachers in high school talked about that, how like once you submitted an art piece, she didn't want you to go back and like keep working on it. She's like, you just have to like say that it's finished and like start something new. And like that's one thing that is really hard a lot of times with artists, because like you said, it's hard to put your stuff out there.
Yeah.
'Cause it's going to be judged by people.
exactly.
And there's only one first impression you can make too. Because if you put out
Very
music
true.
and everyone's like curious, like, what's Nicole been up to? And then listen to it and they're like, I don't know, you know? And then like the next song you put out, you're like, listen to the last one, it wasn't that good, I don't know. You know what I
Right.
mean? You don't want that. So you really want.
Of course not.
You really want people to enjoy the first thing.
Yes.
And that was the biggest thing with my podcast. Like, I really, really, really was nervous about like putting it out at first.
Your first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know if it was gonna suck or not,
Right.
and I didn't even know if people were gonna care. That was the biggest thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was like, who's even gonna listen to my song? And now I'm like, close to 10,000 plays on it. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah. That's really cool though. So like, who was listening to your music at first? Do you know, really? Like friends or?
Oh, you know what? I've been just super blessed to have just really good friends that support me, and I would just always be sending my songs and DJ mixes to my friends and my family, and yeah, that's who was supporting me at first. And I went to concerts so often. I don't go as much anymore because now it's like my job.
Yeah,
you know?
and like it costs money, and like you don't have time to like go to a show every
I don't
week.
I don't have time, definitely. But I just started meeting everybody in the scene and stuff.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and yeah, I just started telling them, oh, I make music, and I just spread the word about myself.
I think a lot of musicians too they know how important the beginning is too, so they're like keen to give you feedback and stuff and listen to it.
Yeah,
they like want to hear it.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's definitely a huge support system in Atlanta, like the whole Deep Dubstep scene, or family, should I say. I mean, everybody supports each other. We all send each other songs, and we're all like super supportive and willing to give each other feedback. So that's really good.
That's super tight.
Yeah.
That's really important. Yeah, that's the hardest thing about like putting stuff out there too, because if you don't have I guess support system is the best way of putting it, but if you don't have anyone that even like cares, or like you're not, I hate to say it this way, but if you're not like relevant to people, like no one's really gonna care,
Yeah.
Which I really hate to put it that way.
Right, but I mean, in this world, it's the truth. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, what kind of part? I mean, obviously, social media is like a super huge part of music these days in general, and music is playing a bigger and bigger part of our lives as well, I think. Mm-hmm. But like, as far as social media presence, like before you started releasing music, did you like care about it at all, or were you like pretty into it as far as like connecting with people?
I mean, you said before I started making music?
Yeah, or like, because obviously now it's like a big part of it. Like when you put out a song, you've got to like let people know or whatever. Or if they already follow you on SoundCloud, they'll see it.
You know what? I guess I was pretty like vocal on social media. Yeah, like I remember when I first bought my first speakers, I would take a picture, I'd be like, so excited to start producing and stuff. So yeah, I was definitely letting people know like I was starting and all that. And
would you get first KRKs?
No, I did not even
I feel
have
like everyone
monitors.
gets KRKs.
No, I didn't even get monitors at first. I didn't even understand the difference between monitors and speakers. No, when I first started, I'm telling you, I didn't know anything. I just like bought a computer and I was like, let's go. Like,
that's tight.
I knew nothing.
Blissfully unaware.
Yes. Like I had beats, but it's not even about the equipment, though. If you want to make music, use whatever you got, and that's fine.
Exactly.
I mean, definitely use what you have.
Any good artist will tell you that.
Exactly, yeah. So, but anyways, I didn't even know what monitors were, and then now I have JBL LSR 508s, and I mean, I love them so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, they rock.
That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like anytime people post like a picture of their like new studio setup, they have like KRK rockets.
That's so true. But
like everyone has those.
Yeah, I actually got advised by my mentor not to get those because even though they are the industry standard, he just told me that they really are not the best, But they're affordable, and I mean, they definitely get the job done. So it's not like they're bad, But
yeah, exactly.
I got a great deal on these.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
They
were used, actually, from a guy who's moving to New Zealand, and
tight.
I snagged both of these. I think each they're supposed to be $300. I got them both for $350.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing about speakers is like, they stay good for a really long time as long as you don't blow them or something. Like I know a friend that like collects vintage speakers and stuff.
Oh really?
Yeah,
That's super
and like
cool.
it's cool because even like speakers from the 70s and stuff like that, like as long as you can like fix them and keep them maintained, like they sometimes sound even better than like stuff they're making now.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. But that's really cool. So like on Facebook though, you were like just super excited and like telling people and stuff like that. Like, oh yeah, I'm starting making music.
I mean,
that's cool.
It's my passion.
Yeah.
Like I've known that I was supposed to do this. Like since a young age because of the passion I feel inside. Sometimes if you feel, I don't know if you've ever felt this. I don't know if everybody gets to feel this in life, but like it's kind of like you feel like a fire in your chest because you're so passionate about something. That's how I felt about music. So I just knew I was supposed to do it.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I've
And,
definitely
yeah.
felt that about like certain things, like for like traveling, for example.
Yeah.
Like when you're just like experiencing really awesome
It's
stuff,
so cool.
and you realize like, wow, like the majority of people will never go here or experience this or
I
whatever it
know.
might be. You know, or yeah, like there's definitely certain things that will kind of do that to you. But it's really awesome when you can find that like this is what I'm like meant to do. you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. So I know we kind of veered off topic there. We were talking about
No,
social
no,
media.
no.
But
No, but that's cool though, because
Yeah.
you're like, I wasn't ashamed to like share that.
no, well, I actually I like to make that a point when I talk to people. Yeah, I don't know. Because it's pretty intense what I feel about it. Like, I think that, I actually think that's what sets me apart from most artists. And I think that's what's going to help me be so successful is my passion for this. Because I see a lot of people who don't have the same passion.
Yeah, or they look at it as like this is kind of what's hot right now, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I can learn this like on the computer and stuff, so I'm gonna like
Right.
try to make this happen.
Right. It's like, yeah, there's like no true passion behind it, you know. So I think the ones that are truly passionate about it, those are the ones that are going to be successful.
For sure.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, you like talked about meditation and stuff like that. When did you like start doing that?
I think I'm going to say either 15 or 16 because I went through like, not a hard time. This is not a hard time at all compared to what some people have been through. But, you know, I was like in high school, you know, dealing with all those confidence issues. And, you know, I was in sports every day after school. And then after school, I'd have to do homework and then get up at 5 a.m. the next day. And so I was just like, I kind of just like hated it. I was like, I'm not going to say depressed, but I was very sad because I just hated high school. Like, I wasn't one of those people that just like loved high school. I wasn't at all. So I was just like, I'm tired of feeling sad all the time. I was like, I've got to do something. So I just kind of like looked up like, what can I do, you know? And they were just like, meditate for 10 minutes. And I was just like, I don't even really know what this is, you know? And I did it and I felt better afterwards. I was like, I feel so much happier. I'm like, and so that's what got me into it. Yeah.
That's really cool. So it was like before you started making music and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Definitely.
So, yeah, because I was curious about that. So, like, after you started meditating and stuff, you just had, like, a little bit more of, like, positive outlook on stuff like that?
Yeah, well, you see, I also kind of think meditation because that's what kind of sparked that change in me that made me realize I can go and make music. I can do this. So, yeah, it was definitely after meditation that I started making music.
Yeah, because, like, every master started as a beginner, and, like, everything that happens starts with a decision to make something happen, so.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that little quote.
Yeah, and, I mean, I don't know if that's a quote necessarily, but it's, like, a
Right.
combination of things. And also, another thing that I've heard is, like, don't, how do I put this? Don't discourage yourself from doing something because of the time that it will take.
Oh, yeah.
Because the time's gonna pass anyways. Like, okay, maybe you won't be good at this until you're like, you know, until 5 or 6 years. But 5 or 6 years are gonna pass anyways, and what else are you gonna do?
Exactly.
Be like sad
Very
and like
true.
not pursue what you want to do?
Exactly. Wow. That's a really good piece of advice that I bet a lot of people could hear.
Yeah, because, I mean, you hear it all the time. People, they've been following whatever path, and then one day they wake up and they're like, where's the time gone? I've like wasted so much time doing
this isn't
stuff I
even what
don't want to do.
Exactly. And I personally know people who feel that way. And that's, you know, that brings me to another point with my music. Not only am I really trying to spread love, I'm really trying to show people that they can do whatever they want. What they truly want to do with their lives. Like, it's so possible, you know? I really want to make a huge point with that. So
That's cool. And like when you say like spread love, obviously that's like easy to say, but like what do you
Right.
mean by that?
pretty much I just need everybody to see that we are all one. Like, You know, we're all the same, especially with all this discrimination going on right now. It's just so bad. People need to just realize that, like, as humans, we are all one and the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Do you think that, like, the fact that your mom is from Spain, like, helped like, kind of realizing that and molding that?
Definitely, because my mom, I've been going to Spain since I was a baby. I've traveled a lot of places around the world, and I think traveling has definitely helped me become who I am today, and my mindset about the world and everything. I think traveling is so important. I think that's very cool. I had no idea that you'd traveled so much yourself, but that makes sense now talking to you, because you can just tell when you're talking to somebody who has traveled and somebody who hasn't.
Yeah, it's kind of true.
You really can.
Yeah, and I keep just dropping quotes here, but like another quote that I've heard is, life is like a book, and if you stay in the same place, you're just reading the same chapter over and over.
Yeah.
Like, you won't read another chapter until you go experience life somewhere else. And that's not to say that, and another thing that people always, they want to make excuses about, oh, well, traveling's expensive. Sure, yes, it is. And like, yeah, it's definitely a luxury to be able to afford to travel.
Yeah.
But if traveling is what you really want to do, then what you need to make a concerted effort to do is create a lifestyle that affords you to have the flexibility to travel.
Exactly.
And that doesn't necessarily even mean making more money than you're making right now. Because people will be like, well, dude, I only make like 25 grand a year. And it's like, bro, you don't know how cheap it is to live in some of these other countries.
Yeah.
Like, you can really, like in America, we have a pretty high standard of living, and it costs a lot to live here. You can go live a lot of other places that cost way less and experience way more things. And that's one other thing that I love about traveling, is how much you learn.
Yes.
Because like everything, like when you're a baby and when you're a kid, like everything is a new experience. And you just like, everything is exciting. Like going to the grocery store, it's like super awesome. Like, whoa, like you see a new cereal, or like whatever happens. Or like going to the park or whatever. And then like as we just become older, like everything just becomes so mundane and like on a schedule. That everything is so boring. And that's what I hate about like coming back after like super long trip.
Oh man.
Is like everything when you're traveling, especially in a country where you don't know the language and stuff, it's like an adventure. And then when you come back, it's like, damn, this is boring.
Right? Yeah.
Like it's so predictable.
Definitely predictable. It doesn't have to be boring.
It doesn't have to be that.
Yeah.
It definitely does
not have to be. But I know what you
be.
mean. When you come back from a trip, it's like a little depressing.
But like even like driving to work in another country could be like awesome.
Yeah,
because you're like seeing stuff that you've never seen before, and like, whoa, what's that weird car? Or like what is that street sign? I don't know, or whatever. And like driving to work here, it's like the same thing that I've experienced since I was like a little kid. So it's just like the same old.
Yeah.
Yeah. But not to say that life has to be boring, because you're totally right. You can make life exciting, for sure. I definitely believe in that. But anyway, okay, so like one other thing I want to talk about was like being a female in the scene and all that. And obviously that's like, I think right now, people are really excited to like rally around like female DJs.
Yeah.
Because like people want something like different like that, and there's a lot of girls that are like in the scene and like this type of music and are like, come on, let's get some female
get
DJs
you out
in
there,
here.
right?
Why do you think like there's not enough? Like why do you think there's this male dominance?
And like I was thinking about this question earlier today too, and I was just like, I really don't know. I don't know. It's just like, I don't know if they don't feel confident enough. Because I know women deal with confidence issues. So do guys, though. I don't get it. I really don't. I don't know.
Do you think, like, well, I think I can kind of...
What do you tell me?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think there's, like, a few stereotypical things that I could, like, say. They obviously don't apply to everyone, of course.
Right.
But, like, if I want to throw a blanket on a whole lot of things, I would think, like, number one, in bands and stuff, like, the front man of, like, a band is, like, typically, like, a guy, a lot of times. And for whatever reason... girls tend to like gravitate towards like being a fan. Like girls are more likely to fangirl than a boy is likely to fanboy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you don't see boys going to a Ariana Grande concert and screaming.
Right.
But you see tons of little girls going to a Justin Bieber concert and screaming.
Yeah,
So there's like, I don't know why, but there's like this thing where like guys are less likely to like really worship and freak out about seeing like a girl on stage, whereas like girls are really like like freaking out about seeing like a guy as like the front man, like, oh my god.
You know what? Maybe it is the fact that like since ancient times, men are just used to taking this leadership role and like, you know what I mean? And it's not even that being a DJ means you're a leader, but you're being looked up to, you know, by a huge crowd. Like, I mean, in a way, you could say it's kind of like a dominant role.
Especially if you're like, if you don't have like if you don't have a set list and you're like freestyling, then you like are kind of like controlling what the vibe of the crowd and the
exactly.
I mean, you're controlling the mood of the place and stuff.
It's a responsibility, you know. I mean, going up there. So, yeah, I guess that could be part of it.
And another thing too is like, especially with electronic music, there's like a nerdy side of it with like the computer-y side of it and stuff. And like for whatever reason, guys tend to be like drawn to that kind of stuff. And like
that is true as well.
I think a lot of times if girls are like really into like computer stuff, it's looked upon like as a sort of negative thing, like, oh, she's just like a weird nerdy like gamer girl or something. Whereas like guys can like, I don't know, for whatever reason, they like form like bonds around that. I don't know.
No, that's a definite.
And like music production on a computer is definitely pretty nerdy.
Right.
You have to be very like, you have to know what you're doing with the software and stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, you could be. We're nerds. Yeah, us music producers, we're the nerds. You know.
But it's awesome.
And like the people who weren't the nerds, now they're the ones doing, I mean, whatever else they're doing.
Yeah. No, but it's so true. Like, I can't remember who tweeted this. I want to say it was like Hero Buster Jaws or somebody, and it was like, if girls knew how nerdy electronic music production was,
so funny.
They would not be like throwing themselves at these DJs all the time.
Right? Like, do you know who we were in high school? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's so funny.
Like Skrillex, like total weirdo, like
right?
People, I mean, like if you go and look at like old pictures of him, like wearing eye makeup and stuff. That kid was definitely like bullied in high school. Right,
of course. It's so funny to me now. I'm just like, all the people that were made fun of, like, those are the people who are becoming like something big, you know, who are entrepreneurs and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So going back to the female topic, I guess that I think that's a big thing actually.
Yeah. But like now I feel like there's this, I don't know, not resurgence, I can't find the right word, but like newfound like embracing of like female DJs, like especially when like you see a female DJ at a festival or something. For me at least, I'm like, yo, this is sick. Like I really want to support this girl because we need more girls in the scene. Yeah. So like, you know, I'm more excited about that, I guess.
Yeah.
Whereas if I see a guy playing the same music, I might not be as excited because I'm kind of like, yawn, I've seen this before.
I've really noticed that. I mean, I've seriously noticed that because, I mean, this has been going pretty well for me. And I'm just like, I definitely think the fact that I'm a girl has definitely helped, you know? It, in a way, gets you some more respect, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I actually had a lot of people telling me when I was getting started, they're like, oh, it's going to be way harder as a girl. Oh, it's going to be way harder to make it. And I was just like, man, whatever. I'm doing it. You know? Awesome. I was just like, why should it be harder? I have no idea. If anything, I thought it should be easier. I mean, you know?
Yeah, I remember, I'm sure you're familiar with like Leah Culver, like MK Ultra. I remember reading an interview with her saying like the reason why she made her name MK Ultra originally was because she didn't want to like go with like a female name because she was afraid of how people would see it on the lineup. Like she wanted to choose like a non-gender specific name, so then when people were like, oh cool, let's go see this person, because I think for a little while it was like viewed like in the scene that like girl DJs like they're not as good, but like let's put them up there just because like
Oh, right.
you know
Because of like sex appeal.
but or whatever. But now there's like genuinely really awesome girls out there like killing it.
Yeah.
And seriously, like I listen to your music, like it's
Thanks.
really good. Like
Thank you.
I'm not just saying that because you're on the podcast and stuff, but
Right.
like if I listen to your music and like I didn't like it, I wouldn't have like reached out to you to be on the podcast. You know what I mean?
I would hope so.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, but that's really cool. So like, what is it? You know, like obviously, you were like, I'm just gonna do this anyways. But do you feel like a responsibility, kind of, as a girl? Like, is it different?
To bring
know.
more girls into it.
Yeah, or like, I don't know.
You know, honestly, I mean, I think it would be great if more girls started getting into it. But I mean, I like it right now. Like, I mean, that there's not that many because it's kind of working out to my advantage at the moment. Because since there's not that many of us, it brings the attention on us, you know?
Totally.
But I mean, I'm not saying like, oh, you know, let's have no more girls come in. Like, I would love that. You know, I think it's great.
Especially when I think you can gain the respect of everybody. Like, when you see a girl, like, actually throw down, like, an amazing set.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, shit. Like, this is rad. Like, I
Right.
definitely want to see this girl again or whatever,
Yeah,
you know?
right.
So, yeah.
It's been very helpful.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
So now you're, like, playing shows and stuff. Like, how often are you, like, getting booked and stuff? Obviously,
I mean,
this
it's
isn't...
almost every week.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, it's really almost every week now, if not every other week. Yeah,
That's super,
how
super
often
cool.
it's become. It definitely started off being like once a month. Yeah, once a month type of thing. I mean,
just
this
being,
all
like, the
happened so
opener and
quickly.
stuff.
I mean, definitely is still on opener status. I still haven't headlined a show or anything. It's gonna take a little more work for that, but no, I mean, this all happened so fast. Like I said earlier, last year, July 9th was my first show ever. And then just slowly, like, I mean, it's only been a year since then. Now I'm already to the point where I'm having one almost every week. I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty
amazing.
crazy.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Okay, so like on one of my podcasts, it's probably coming out tomorrow, but by the time this comes out, it'll be a little bit later. But I was talking with this guy, Matt B. Davis, and he like runs a podcast and stuff, and he was asking me all about this electronic stuff, and he's like, "Yo, so like, what is the appeal of like going to see these DJs? Like, why do people care so much to go travel miles and miles to go to Tomorrow World to see?"
Or
David
travel
Guetta.
to see Bass Nectar or whatever.
Yeah, when like literally you could just like listen to his music, you know? And obviously there's the production side of it, and like the lights and the experience and the crowd and all that stuff. But like as far as being a DJ, like what is like real DJing to you? Like what are you doing on stage as a DJ, you know? Because I think this is kind of a controversial like subject as far as like pressing play, you know?
Oh, well, I mean, there's a lot of different softwares, you know what I mean? There are a lot of people, I mean, I guess there are some people who just press play, but I mean, to me when I get up there, I'm taking people through an audible journey. Like, from start to finish, like, I want it to be like, I kind of told a story, you know? Like, that's, to me, not only making music is art, but DJing is huge. I mean, I actually got into DJing before production.
It's a little bit easier, I feel like, because you can fuck with other people's creations.
Yeah, it's definitely easier to get into that first. I mean, to me, they're an equal as an art. I mean, that's just me. Some people will definitely argue that, but I think they're equal. Oh, thank you. But yeah.
Yeah, I feel you, because like I don't know if this was recently, but I saw this article that like deadmau5 put out where he was kind of like talking about the press play kind of DJing and stuff, because he basically said like a lot of the stuff I'm doing on stage, like you could teach to somebody in like a few days or like a few weeks or whatever. It's not that anything I'm doing on stage is like technically difficult. Like anyone could learn what I'm doing. It's not like learn. It's not like I'm playing a guitar solo or something.
Wow,
Like,
I solely believe if you put your mind to it, you can really learn anything.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so, but yeah, it's, you know, I'm not gonna say DJing is hard, but I mean, to be damn good at it, I'm not gonna say it's easy. I mean, also, if you're wanting to be creative, I mean, there's so many things you can do to be really creative, like adding samples throughout your set, all different kinds of things, you know, mashups, whatever. That's what's gonna set you apart from other DJs. I mean, yes, you can teach DJing to anybody, but to be really good at it is another thing.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Cool. Well, I feel like we've talked about DJing music and stuff like the whole time. And earlier you mentioned like what you're trying to like do with your music, like as far as like spreading love and like all the like, you know, obviously lots of tension and racial stuff and, you know, all this other stuff. And we were talking about like traveling and all that. Obviously, it's not a black and white issue. Obviously, there's not like a solution. But like as far as like your music and what you're trying to promote and stuff, like what can we do as like humans to try to like make living on this planet better and like embracing each other like more? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if there was just one message I just had to say, I mean, I really think if everybody just took the time every day to meditate for 10 minutes, no matter who you are, like, you'll just find it within yourself to just be more peaceful and accepting of others and just, yeah.
So like when you say meditating for in silence, like a lot of people are thinking you're sitting like cross-legged and like just trying to think about nothing.
Right. Okay,
Like-
well, meditation...
Or I could be wrong about that, but
Yeah.
like what is your version of meditation? Because obviously meditation means so many things.
Right. Well, meditation to me, and meditation, what it really is, though, is just get in whatever position is comfortable to you. And yeah, think of just nothing. You could even have like some music playing in the background and just like whatever thoughts come in, like you just push them out. And the importance of that is because every day, I mean, just think about it. Like you're just constantly thinking these thoughts and like, you know, all the time, you know, it's very important to just stop because all the things you're thinking are just like, they're putting all this energy into your body. You gotta just kind of like reset sometimes. You know what I mean? You need a reset. And
Totally.
that's what that silence does. It's just a reset. And it's really important for people. And it also, I think it can help you like figure out who you are too. Yeah.
That's super important. That's one thing that I love about traveling, especially
Yeah.
because a lot of times who you are, like if you boil yourself down to like your innermost who you are.
Yeah.
Like are you your body? Are you your friends? Are you your experiences? Are you your accomplishments? Like if you cut off your arms, like are you still you? If you cut off your legs, are you still you? You know?
Yeah.
Like it's really weird and I think a lot of people don't think about that. And the reason why I brought up traveling is because when you're traveling, and like traveling is such a like, you know, blanket term, but I'm thinking of traveling to a place where you've not, like for example, that you may not feel comfortable in or you've never been there before, and especially traveling alone. If you ever get the chance to travel solo, like, or maybe even just with like a close friend that you feel super, super comfortable with, because if you're in your bubble at home, you're constantly trying to like impress other people or like act a certain way to elicit a reaction from something else or someone else. And when you're there, you're just like, wow, I don't have to like impress anybody. I don't know anyone here.
Yeah.
Like who really am I? Like, and you can really like boil down to like think about
That's
the deeper
so
meanings
true.
of stuff.
Yeah.
And like
that's
why
cool.
am I here versus
Yeah.
there?
Right.
And it trips you out.
I never thought about it like that. Yeah.
And like people say like, oh yeah, man, that's trippy. But like the reason why people call a trip, if you're like tripping on drugs or
Yeah.
whatever, is because you're literally taking a journey. You were taking a trip.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
like sometimes when you're on a trip,
Yeah.
it's trippy because like your mind is taking a journey as well as your body,
Yeah,
and you think about stuff that you haven't thought about before, which is amazing.
exactly. We're getting deep. We got deep.
We got deep.
We definitely got deep on this podcast.
That's my favorite thing to do, though. I love getting deep.
Gotta dig deep.
Yeah, because I think, like we were talking about it before we started recording, a lot of times when you listen to interviews or whatever, they're really surface level. If you've listened to like a DJ interview before, a lot of times you're going to hear the same thing over and over.
Right.
Like, yeah, man, crowd is really good. Like, you know, like, I don't know, just like these cliche, like of surface level questions. And that's why I love podcasts, because since they're long form, you can really digest and fully form what you're actually trying to say rather than just like getting out a blurb so that they can like put a quote in their article or whatever.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely. It's crazy. I never really listened to podcasts at all, but you definitely got me interested.
Do you ever listen
in
to like
the whole
audio?
world?
Yeah. Do you ever listen to audiobooks?
No. Like.
Do you ever read books?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Cool.
Reading is great.
What are your favorite books?
Ooh.
Not to put you on the spot.
No.
Or like some good books.
Right. Well.
Because people always love recommendations for books.
I've liked a book called The Breadwinner.
Haven't heard of that.
Yeah. It kind of tells about the story of a girl in the Middle East and like all of her struggles, like, you know, because over there, females are totally not treated the same. And I read that book a while ago. And
is it based on a true story? Like, is it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And I don't know, that reading books also just, you know, makes you very thankful for, you know, where you are. And I like that book a lot. I don't know.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Breadwinner. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting, actually. No, because that's one thing that I really like about audiobooks is because I like reading books, but a lot of times I get distracted while I'm reading.
Yeah.
Or, like, I can't sit still or whatever, and I'm just like, or I have things to do, and I'm like, I need to, like, clean my room, or, like, I need to, like, do this or whatever. But the reason why I love audiobooks is because, like, I can do things with my hands, but still be, like, like I'm like emptying the dishwasher, but I'm like still like
that's
learning
super cool.
something or whatever.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so I always just have like my Bluetooth headphones on, like in my house, like whenever I'm doing stuff, just like listening to podcasts or whatever.
I guess I'm just always so engulfed in music, like
I feel you.
I mean, my life is just music all the time.
Yeah.
Like my ears music all the time, you know. I really should make more time for reading, but I think I'll probably stick to books because I'm the type to like listen to music as I read. You know, because since the music I listen to for the most part won't have lyrics.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It's very possible.
I totally feel you on that.
Yeah.
That was a point that my friend Alex put. Have you ever? He's probably like heard this story a million times if he's listening to this, but have you seen those American Family Insurance commercials where the guy is like playing guitar and then like Jennifer Hudson comes up and like sings with them or whatever?
Oh,
it's
man.
like this bald guy and he's like singing and Jennifer Hudson comes up and like starts doing a duet with him and it's like a surprise.
I don't know. I want to say yes, but I don't know.
It's okay.
I don't watch a lot of TV.
It's okay. I don't either.
Oh,
but,
word.
Like, the reason why I know that is because it's my friend in the commercial, my friend Alex.
Oh, really?
So anyways, yeah. And there's like, it's crazy because he's on like billboards and stuff, like on 400 and like 85, like literally like his face is on a billboard with Jennifer Hudson.
I probably have seen it then.
Yeah.
You know.
But anyways, it's okay if you haven't. I don't watch TV either, really. But he was on my podcast and one thing that he talked about is because he's like a more like traditional musician playing guitar, singing, songwriting, all that. And one thing that he kind of pointed out was like there's kind of two different types of music. There's like music that is kind of like the soundtrack to life where you can kind of like play it in the background and like just kind of like let it be like the background music of your daily life. And then there's some music where you want to like really sit down and like let it take over your brain and like really listen to it. Or if it has lyrics or whatever, like really listen to them and stuff.
And I love both kinds, especially because, I mean, I listen to meditation music, so I really like just super ambient type of stuff.
Yeah.
I love that
Do you do yoga?
You know, I just recently started picking it up. I've been so inflexible all my life. Literally last week I started.
No way.
Literally last week. I was like, I'm done living this lifestyle, like, and I just stretched for like an hour. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I felt like a different person. I was like, I'm totally going to keep this up.
Yeah, because I feel like yoga and meditation go hand in hand a
They
lot.
do, and that's why I'm also like, what am I doing? Like,
Yeah.
because it was crazy. Right when I started doing yoga, I was like, all of a sudden, like, that's just all you're focused on is that stretch or that position, and you're automatically like meditating because that's all you're focused on. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm not thinking about like anything.
Yeah.
My mind just clears automatically.
Yeah. I don't know, like I could be being like, I don't know. I feel like I know myself pretty well.
Yeah.
And like, I'm pretty able to like kind of not stress about stuff. Like I can kind of, like, I don't know, zone out sometimes. But like sometimes, it is hard to like not think about things. But definitely during yoga, like if you're in a hard position or something, you're like,
yep, you're just like,
oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to like breathe and not fall over right now.
exactly. So, and then, you know, once you're done, it's just like, wow.
Yeah.
You feel like a reset, like I was saying earlier.
Totally. Yeah, there's this one yoga class that I have been going to, and now they just started doing like, it used to be an hour and a half yoga class, and it was like restorative yoga, so it was like really chill, like it's like super dark and like just like super relaxing. And then now what they're doing is like they're doing like an hour, and then the last 30 minutes is like just meditation, which is kind of cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's
and
amazing.
they're like, if you want to stay for the meditation, you totally don't have to, but like if you want to, you can. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So like, yeah, I'm kind of like some.
So you've been doing it yourself lately?
Yeah, like I've been trying to get more into like meditation. My schedule has gotten like kind of weird recently, so I've like totally been off of like what I've been trying to do for my morning schedule. But like my friend Ashlyn, I think she was episode like 2 of the podcast. Episode 2, crazy. She, like, we talked about meditation, like, a long time on that podcast.
Wow,
so then after that one, I started trying to do it more, and then I did, like, a couple other podcasts where people were talking about meditation.
Really?
So I'm like, I really need to do more.
Wow, you really attract these kind of people then, it seems. Yeah. Well, it seems like universe is trying to tell you something.
I know, right?
You know?
And also I've been trying to, like, read more.
Yeah.
And, like, all this stuff.
That's always important,
Yeah. Because also another thing that I realized was like taking a minute like every morning to like read some is like really good.
Yeah.
Instead of just like listening to an audiobook, like sitting down and reading.
Exercise your brain,
Yeah. But have you ever heard of sensory deprivation tanks before?
Yes.
Have you done one before?
No.
There's a place in Little 5 Points that has them.
Really?
Yeah.
How much is it, you know?
Yeah, I've been to it. It's...
does it like a lot of money to do it one time?
They have like a Groupon where I think it was like, I want to say it was like $90 for 2-hour floats. So
2 hours
So you do
in
one.
there.
So you do 1 hour, and then you do another hour like at a later date. Like you only do 1 hour at a time. But yeah, you do an hour.
And I mean, what's
It's
it
like meditation. Like
wow, you
so
just like meditate.
The idea behind it is so it's called a sensory deprivation tank because it's completely pitch black. You're in a tank full of Epsom salt and water. And since the Epsom salt is more dense than the water, your body floats like no matter how heavy you are, how big you are, or whatever. So you're literally floating in this water. The water is set
and you just like you don't have to do anything.
Your body can completely fully relax. You're laying on your back, your head is back, and like the water is just like right around your eyes kind of. And the water is set to body temperature and the air is set to body temperature. So after like a few minutes of just sitting still, like you just can't
don't feel anything.
Really tell where the water ends and where the air begins.
Wow.
It's trippy. And like there's people that can get to like hallucinogenic.
Right.
They can hallucinate in the tank without the use of like any drugs or anything because it's like
I bet
it's crazy.
I bet that can
and
induce
also when you're
crazy
the
meditations.
trippiest thing is when so me and Ashlyn actually after we did our podcast about meditation we went and did it together.
What?
Not in the same tank
That's so
obviously
cool.
because you're naked and like
oh, really?
you're like in separate tanks
right
and like you bump into each other and it would ruin the experience completely.
Yeah,
but yeah, you're
so.
literally like completely naked in this tank.
How's it going?
Yeah. No, but the weird thing is like since I knew she was in the tank like near me, I was like thinking during it, I'm like, whoa, it's weird. Like Ashlyn's like also like floating in space with me, like next door.
Right
like,
over there. Yeah. That's cool.
No, but it's trippy because also
wow.
when your eyes are open or closed, it looks the exact same because it's completely pitch black.
Wow.
It's crazy. You have to do it.
Yeah.
It's so wild.
No, I'm sold.
Yeah.
Sold.
You have to do it.
Doing it.
Literally, this place should like give me money for referrals. Like, I'm sure people have gone
really?
to it because of the podcast. Yeah. Because like me and Ashlyn went and then we actually recorded like a bonus podcast after the experience to like talk about it.
Oh,
so.
nice. That's
Yeah.
super cool. Yeah.
So if you're really interested in that, go listen to that bonus episode.
Okay, cool.
And Ashlyn's episode. But anyways, what were we talking about before that? Meditation and all that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just think like meditation's super important. I definitely need to do it more. Because like so many influential people that I know always talk about it. Like a lot of my friends that I really respect do it.
Yeah.
So I definitely like, also with my trip that I just went on, like I've been like out of whack, like totally, and I've been really focused on putting out podcasts. So like when I wake up, I'm like, I gotta start editing and stuff.
Right. But when you're feeling that way, those are the days it's the most important to do it.
Exactly.
So then you're in the right state of mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm in a
but
super...
it's the hardest. It's the hardest. It's like, no, I don't have time. But that's the biggest lie you will ever tell yourself is I don't have time.
Because everybody has the same amount of time.
Yeah. It's just...
We've all got 24 hours.
You make time for what you want to make time for.
Yeah, one thing I've tried to start doing now, instead of saying like, yeah, man, sorry, I didn't have time to do that, I try to like catch myself and say, sorry, man, I didn't make it a priority.
Exactly. You know what? I've done that recently too. I'm like, anytime I'm thinking about saying I didn't have time, I'm always like, I always rephrase it. I'm like, you know what, man, I'm really sorry. I couldn't make time.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't make the time. That was it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, because like Lord knows I like looked at Facebook for like 15 minutes or whatever, and like sending the email or like reaching back out to that person would have taken like 5.
Exactly.
Totally true.
Yep.
Cool. Well, I feel like we talked about a lot of stuff. Is there
Yeah,
anything
me too.
else that you want to talk about? Where can people find your music and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, well, SoundCloud is the big one. So
Yes.
SoundCloud, Zen Selekta, ZenSelekta.
I forgot to ask you, how did you come up with that name too?
Well, Zen, I mean, you know what Zen is. State
And you
of
have like the
mind.
Symbol like in your
in
logo.
my logo, right. So you can see that I'm real about this, you know. But I actually think I'm going to end up rebranding. I think I'm still going to try and keep the symbol in there, but... So yeah, you know, that's why I started this whole thing, was to change the world in my own way. So I was like, my name needs to represent just that. And so it first started off just as Zen. I was just Zen. And then I found, you know, and I was making trap and all that. And then I found Deep Dubstep. And if you know what a Selekta is, do you know what that is? So back in Jamaica, when the roots of dub started, there was a Selekta, and that was the person who chose the music, and that's where this whole dubstep culture derived. You know, was from dub music.
Yeah.
And then it went over to the UK and became dubstep. You know, but so in Jamaica, the person who chose the songs, they were called the Selekta. So that's how I got my name, Zen Selekta.
That's tight.
Yeah.
I like that. So people, if they want to find your music, Zen Selekta on SoundCloud.
Yeah, on SoundCloud.
I'll definitely link it in the description of the podcast.
I'm like, you know, Zen Selekta everything. Facebook, Instagram, you know, even Twitter. I don't use it really, but I have it, so.
Same.
Yeah.
Twitter's not my thing.
It's just
I can't
not.
get into Twitter.
I don't do it. I had it once and I still have it, but there it sits.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I'm just not in that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's really awesome. Yeah, so if people want to like ask you questions or like if they're curious about like music production or whatever, like where's the best place to like reach you?
Probably Facebook. Yeah.
Cool.
I'm very responsive. I love talking to people.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
That's super important, especially in today's world. I hate it when artists want to like close themselves
I
off.
just feel like they're too good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
yeah, I'm definitely not like that.
That's
So,
really awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, anything else?
I don't think so. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Thank you so much. It was
All right.
awesome.
Cool.
My
Bye,
first
everybody.
podcast.
There we
Bye.
go. There we go. Thanks for listening, everybody. Make sure you follow Nicole everywhere. Most importantly, go follow her on SoundCloud so you can actually listen to her music and find it and hear when new stuff gets released. Again, she is Zen Selekta. That is Zen, Z-E-N, Selekta, S-E-L-E-K-T-A. Zen Selekta. And if you want to go see Nicole do her thing live, I've got 10 opportunities for you to catch her over the next 2 months. So don't be sleeping, all right? So we got September 14th. That is at Aisle 5 in Atlanta. September 21st at Imagine Festival at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, which I will be attending. So come hang out with us. We've got Seeds of Sound Festival in Sparta, Georgia, the weekend after that. We've got October 7th at Iris in Atlanta. We've got Past the Good Festival outside of Pensacola, Florida during that same weekend of October 7th. We've got October 11th at the Music Room in Atlanta. We've got October 12th, the next day, at New Mountain in Asheville, North Carolina. We've got October 14th in Gainesville, Georgia. Not sure what venue that is, but we'll figure it out. We got October 20th at the Masquerade in Atlanta. And finally, we have October 28th at the Neighborhood Theater in Charlotte, North Carolina. All the links to her shows will be on her Facebook page, so make sure you check that out if you're going to be in any of those areas. Definitely go check her out. Go see a show. It'll be super fun. And like I said, I will be actually playing another one of her tracks at the end of this podcast. So don't leave just yet. Keep listening. I'm just a couple minutes away from wrapping it up, and you'll be able to hear another awesome song from Nicole. But the next episode, episode 40. Wait a second. What? Episode 40. Yes, folks. We made it. Episode 40. Pretty legendary. But episode 40 is with the amazing, badass stunt woman and actress Joandice Candice. Cool name, right? Joandice has been in over 100 productions and movies, including, but not even close to being limited to, Baby Driver, The Avengers, The Hangover, The Hunger Games, Last Holiday, Girls Trip, Stranger Things, Parks and Rec, The Walking Dead, and her most recent starring role in the Netflix original movie, Naked. Or as she said, Naked. How do you guys say it? Naked? Naked? I don't know. I say naked. Either way, her list of credits is insane, and her stories are even crazier, from her days as a professional live wrestler to being Queen Latifah's go-to stunt double to meeting and being Oprah's stunt double. She's an absolute beast, and that podcast will be coming out very soon. So stay tuned. If you want to support the podcast, the best way to do that is, number one, to share it with your friends. So if you enjoyed this podcast, if you like electronic music, if you like Nicole, if you like dubstep, share it with another friend that might be into that kind of stuff too, because that really goes a long way in the podcast being discovered by more people. I really appreciate you. Also, go to iTunes and rate it 5 stars. You could be listening to this on SoundCloud. You could be listening to this on my website. You could be listening to this on some other podcasting app. But none of that matters, because iTunes just so happens to be the number one place where people discover podcasts. So if you go and rate it 5 stars, that could be super helpful for me, because I want to get more higher ranked in iTunes. That is very crucial for me to getting this out to more people. If you want to follow me on social media, you can go to my website, andrewdeitsch.com. That's Andrew, DEITSCH.com. And you can find links to all of my social media handles and accounts and all that junk. But I'm going to shut up now. Thanks for listening, everybody. Seriously, the support for the podcast has been overwhelming, especially this past weekend. I've got just like an outpouring of love and support and so many kind words. I really appreciate all of you. But now the time has come to listen to another tasty tune from Zen Selekta. This one was her first official release. It's very chill, and it is called Gangsta Feather. So check it out, and I will see you guys in the next one.